good morning, guys. I hope y'all had a great spring break and an awesome Easter. I'm gonna do fourth and fifth math video together because fifth grade, you guys have a math test today. You can use your books to go back through and look for anything you need to look for, because I know this is coming right off of spring break, and I will definitely take that into consideration. But use your books, go back and look for measurements, look for anything that you want to look for in your book. You can use your notes that we've done, use anything that you need to use for your math test. Today we are beginning using what are they called? Live worksheets is what they're called, interactive live worksheets. So it's pretty much kind of like the way we were doing our other math, where you're going to do your work on another sheet of paper and then put the answers in. But on this one, your answers, you won't have to like worry about your answers moving all around and going to different lines and everything, because there's little boxes. You'll click in that box and then type your answer right in that box. Now, one thing about our live worksheets though is that it grades your work. So it's going to grade your work exactly the way I have punched the answer in. So when I punch your answers in, I punch them in with commas, I punch them in with decimal points, of course. I punch them in with dollars and cent signs. All of these have to be in your answers in order for your answers to be correct. That goes for fourth and fifth grade math anytime across the board now. You have to use decimal points. You have to use dollar signs. You have to use everything that we would have, commas that a number would use. It sometimes I let slide by, especially those commas. Mostly not decimal points, but commas especially. If you are writing a mixed number, you're going to press it. You're going to type in your whole number, 16 space and 3/4. So you'll have a space in between your whole number and your fraction if you're typing in a mixed number. Those are just some things to keep in mind as you are doing your math test today. Okay, so good luck to y'all on that. Ashlyn, go ahead and fifth grade math, you guys can be done with this video. Love you guys. Ashlyn, go ahead and get out your math book and open it to page 121 and 122. So I know you've heard Miss McDermott say before to the fifth graders, and I probably mentioned it to you as well, I'm pretty sure, because it's just something so cool that I think about fractions. But so when we have a fraction, like let's say we have 32/4, we know that 32/4 is an improper fraction because our numerator is larger than our denominator. So we can use our fraction bar. Remember, our fraction bar means the same as divide. 32 divided by 4 equals 8. So that improper fraction can be simplified or turned into a whole or mixed number by dividing and using your fraction bar. So look in section 1 on page 121, and your first problem is, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing this. 20 over 4. So 20 over 4 would be the same as saying 20 divided by 4, which would be 5. So that is how we're going to do those problems. We're going to use our fraction bar as a division sign. I was trying to leave the light off there so that it wouldn't make a glare on the board, but I can't see my book when I do that, so I apologize. And the first problem wasn't 20 over 4, it was 10 over 5. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. So letter A, we have 54 divided by 9, or 54 over by 9. So 54 divided by 9 is 6. Letter C, we have 15 divided by 5. You know what 15 divided by 5 is? It's 3. So what I want you to see is that right now I'm not saying 15 over 3, I'm saying 15 divided by 3. Letter D, we have 42 divided by 7. You know the answer. Letter E, we have 48 divided by 8. So that is how we're going to look at our fraction bars. Sometimes we'll still have to look at them as a fraction, but A lot of times we will have to look at them as a division sign. Look at section 2, find the quotients. So if we have the improper fraction 11 over 2, we're going to say 11 divided by 2. 2 will go into 11 5 times. 2 times 5 is 10. 11 minus 10 is 1. And we're going to write our remainder as a fraction. So it's 5. Our remainder becomes the numerator. And our divisor becomes the denominator. 5 and 1/2. Letter B. We have 55 divided by 9. So 9 will go into 55 6 times. 9 times 6 is 54. We subtract. We write our remainder as a fraction. Our answer to our subtraction becomes our numerator. And our denominator, our divisor becomes our denominator, 6 and 1/9. Then we have 26 divided by 5. 16 divided by 5. So we'll do it the same way. 5 will go into 16 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 minus 5 is 1. That's our numerator. Our divisor becomes our denominator, 3 and 1/5. And then we have 43 divided by 7. 7 will go into 43 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. 3 minus 2 is 1. That becomes our numerator. And our divisor becomes our denominator, 6 and 1/7. And last we have 49 divided by 8. So 8 times 6 is 48. We subtract. Our 1 is our numerator. Our divisor becomes our denominator, 6 and 1/8. Okay? In section 3, we're going to mark under the improper fractions. So you're just going to color the circles, and remember the improper fraction is the fraction that has the larger numerator, so be sure and do that. And then section 4, solve the story problem. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic Ocean with a crew of 90. In 1497, John Cabot sailed with a crew of 18. How many more men sailed with Columbus than with Cabot? So of course it's just going to be 90 minus 18. Whenever we hear how many more, then we know we are going to subtract. Turn your paper over to page 122. On the back side, section 5, write the answers. We need to be sure that we know these measurements. Very important. 1 yard is how many feet? 3. Letter B, going across 1 week equals 7 days. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. After you do these today, study them. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. 1 gallon equals 4 quart. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. 1 century equals 100 years. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. And 1 yard equals 36 inches. Okay, so the rest of your math sheet, you are going to go ahead and complete. Now today you will not be filling in any answers from your math sheet on your live worksheet. You have a different sheet in your live worksheet that you will do after you complete your work in your math book. Okay? All right, that is all I have for you today. Enjoy.